The following program has been rated PG-13.
Shalom Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for the reading and the understanding of His word in Israel. Once again, I want to wish every king, every queen, every prince, and every princess, I want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful, magnificent Sabbath, and it is an honor and a pleasure for me to be here with you this time. All right, I'm telling you, when I tell y'all, I thank y'all so much for joining every Friday night Sabbath so that we can go ahead and get this Sabbath started off right. Now, I want to go ahead and say this before we begin. This subject matter that we're going to be talking about tonight is, I have to say, raunchy, but not on my terms here. All right, just the subject matter is going to be pretty sensitive. Now, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to keep this as PG as possible, but there are going to be some very sensitive subjects that we have to talk about tonight. Now, do I think it's something that little kids probably should not see? Yes. Okay, because of the subject matter, and I'm sure that y'all can understand that. Now, 13 going up. Hey, you know, they've seen worse things. Trust me when I tell you that. But when it comes to like your little kids, this is something that you may need to go and translate to them. All right. Now, this is going to be done in a PG fashion. All right. I'm going to try my best to take it easy with some of the verbiage that I may use. All right. So, but there's no guarantee. All right. Remember, it is a PG-13 rated show, but I'm going to do my best. That is the only promise that I can give to you, that I'm going to do my best. Now, what are we talking about here tonight? We are discussing this WAP video that was put out by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Now, honestly, I don't even know where to begin with this. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this video, it is one of the most, if not the most disgusting video that I've ever seen. And the reason being is because it is the absolute degradation of our black women. And I find it to be extremely offensive, and I really do. This is why I want to talk about this topic here tonight, because it's the absolute audacity of these women, these so-called black women that made the choice to participate in this disgusting, raunchy, degrading, offensive, I don't even want to call it a song, because it's not a song. Pretty much what it is, it's a glorified porn with lyrics. And I have a huge problem with this here because of the disrespect that these Edomites have for our black women to put out such a trash product like this. It just goes to show that they have absolutely no regard for our women. And I'm going to prove that to you tonight. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it. This video alone, if you have seen it already, that should prove it by itself. But I'm going to tell you this right now. There's going to be so many of you, so many people who are going to be like, oh, well, what's the big deal about it or whatever? It's a huge deal. I'm going to show you why tonight. First of all, we're going to handle it biblically, and then we're going to handle it historically. Now, I'm not recommending that anyone actually watch this, but what I am recommending is that you go and look up the lyrics to the song. That's all I got to say about that. Just look up the lyrics of this. Like I said, it's I can't even believe I'm calling it a song, because it's really not a song at all. All right? It's debauchery. It's just plain downright disgusting. Now, this is when it grabbed my attention, because I was not even aware of the song. But Let me tell you how bad this is. This is so bad that an Edomite, not just any Edomite, but an Ashkenazi, a fake Jew, his name is Ben Shapiro, has actually spoke out in regards to this song. Now, some of the things that he says are, I hate to say it, but it's true. Some of the things he say are very comical. All right. Now, I'm a person, I have a sense of humor. I do. And there's just certain things that he says that's like, all right, dude. But the fact that this fake Jew, this Ashkenazi, had to come out to correct our women, brothers, we have a major, major issue. And you'll know what I mean by that later on in the lesson. But what I want to do right now, I want to play you some of the audio from Ben Shapiro's interview that he had in regard to this WAP video. I don't know if it's pronounced WAP or WAP, but what it stands for, WAP, and this is just in the title. The title means wet. Yeah, that's what it means. So without any further ado, let's go ahead. Let's hear what the Edomite Ben Shapiro has to say about our sisters. All right, here we go.
So here are the actual lyrics. Okay, and this is not demeaning to women in any way. It's not demeaning to women in any way. It doesn't turn women into sex objects. It doesn't make men think of women in a purely sexual fashion. It is women empowering themselves. It is super empowerment. Here are some of the lyrics. You ready? Hold up. I said certified freak 7 days a week. Wet ass P-word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P-word. P-word is female genitalia. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P-word. Give me everything you got for this wet ass P-word. Beat it up, N-word. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P-word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I want to ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P-word is wet, come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like a lot more vulgar. Talk your S-word, bite your lip. Ask for a call while you ride that D-word. You really ain't never gonna F him for a thing. He already made his mind up before he came. And now get your boots and your coat for this wet ass P-word. Pay my tuition just to kiss me on this wet ass right? So this is, guys, this is what feminists fought for. This is what the feminist movement was all about. It's not really about, women being treated as independent, full, rounded human beings. It's about wet ass P-word. And if you say anything differently, it's because you're a misogynist, you see. It gets really, really vulgar. But I will admit that when I first saw the lyrics to this song, my first concern, as a sympathetic and empathetic human being, my first concern is that these women are describing a serious gynecological condition. And, I'm serious, that these women are suffering from some sort of serious, a bucket and a mop? This sounds like there's something that is going on here that is not biologically normal. And, by the way, this song is so unsexy that it frankly sounds like somebody describing what amounts to a serious condition that requires the care of a doctor. So, fortunately, I know a doctor, who is my wife, and so I asked her for her medical diagnosis. And she looked at the lyrics herself, and after being kind of appalled by them, obviously, she had a few sort of indicators here on how she could diagnose the vaginal condition that apparently these women are suffering from. So there are a few sort of giveaways. Here. So first of all, a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P-word. So first of all, she had to clarify whether wet ass P-word was a description of the P-word or whether one of the clinical symptoms here was also diarrhea.
Okay, so you heard the commentary from this man, and I have to say, this is one of the most embarrassing things that our nation can endure. Seriously. And just in the lyrics alone should be embarrassment enough. All right, but with all that being said, of course, you already know what we have to do. We have to go to the scriptures. All right, so like I said, what we're going to do tonight, here's the format. We are going to break this down with the scriptures first, and then we're going to go through the history of some of the things that were happening to our women. Now, first and foremost, let's start with this here. Let's start with Cardi B. Now, Cardi B has never pulled any punches when she said that she is not a role model to our children. And she made that very, very clear. Okay? Megan the Stallion, whatever her name is, or whatever its name is, because there's rumor that she or he, whatever it is could be possibly a transgender or whatever it is. And that's going to mean something here when we get into these scriptures. So here you have two ungodly Israelites that have absolutely no care in the world, no self-respect for themselves, and definitely no respect for their nation, and no respect for their women. Not their mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, daughters. No respect whatsoever. So now, let's go ahead and let's pick this up here biblically. So, I want you to go to Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 9. We're going to kick this off. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 9. And I'm going to read something to you. And then we're going to break this down. And it reads, "The shew of their countenance doth witness against them." So let me stop for a second. The shew of their countenance. What is your countenance? Your appearance. So it says, the shew of their countenance, meaning the showing of their countenance, doth witness against them, meaning that their appearance is a witness against them. And they declare their sin as Sodom. We're going to be talking a lot about Sodom tonight. They hide it not. They don't hide their sin, meaning that they take pleasure in their sin. They're happy in their sin. We'll get to this. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. This is deep right here. So what this whole thing breaks down to is the Most High saying right now that their sin shows all over their body. So when you look at pictures of Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, and all of these very hypersexual women, it shows just how they are. The scantily clad clothing and all that, titties popping out, booty all over the place, you know, you leaving absolutely nothing to the imagination whatsoever. Completely scantily clad. In sin. And the Most High said, What did he say? Woe unto their soul. Do you know what that means? Death to you. Death. For dressing like a hoe. For being the example of a hoe. Now, Cardi B may go ahead and say that she's not a role model. And guess what? I agree. You're for damn sure not a role model. But whenever you take the position of being a public figure, you have people that watch you. You have it. You have an obligation and a responsibility to carry yourself in a positive manner. You do. I don't care what you say. That's one of those unwritten rules. And it is. But she doesn't give a damn about that. And apparently, neither does Megan Thee Stallion, nor Nicki Minaj, or any other one of our hypersexual sisters here in Israel that just don't give a damn. They're not going to follow it. Why? Because they are under those Hollywood contracts, and we'll get a lot into Hollywood here later on. But they're into those contracts. They sign their souls away, and they have to do what they promised to do, which was to be very hypersexualized. Now, as we just read, the Most High has a problem with that. Let's continue now. That was Isaiah 3. Now I want you to go to Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 9. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 9. Watch this. Let's see if it's any different. Watch this. Now remember, we're talking about Sodom. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. That is a promise. That said the very same thing that is said in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 9. Woe unto thy soul. Woe, meaning death to you. And this right here says the very same thing. I'm going to read it one more time. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, meaning in these last days, the day of the Lord, the days that we are approaching right now, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger. I want to make sure y'all understand those two words. To lay the land desolate, mean to wipe out the land of where we are sinning, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. That's point blank and matter of fact. The Most High is not playing. Now, we're talking about Sodom. Now, what is Sodom synonymous with? Sexual immorality. Okay? Not just homosexuality, but sexual immorality altogether. Altogether. And like I said, we are going to be talking a lot about Sodom here tonight. All right, so now let's go ahead. I want to go to Jeremiah chapter 23. Jeremiah chapter 23 and his verse 14. Because I'm telling you right now, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, I'm going to show it all to you tonight. All of it. Because this disgusting display of our sisters must stop. It has to stop. All right, I'm going to read this. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 14. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem, speaking about us Israelites, an horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah. This is what the Most High said about Israel. He said that we remind him of Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? In this sexual immorality and wickedness. Wickedness. Now, remember in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, it wasn't only homosexuality that was going on there, but remember the daughters. The daughters laid with their father. They laid with Lot. This sexual immorality. The Most High is not playing with this. He's not at all. And this is why right now he is comparing Israel to Sodom and Gomorrah. Because if you look around Israel today, not even with celebrities, just walk outside your house, go to the mall, go to the schools, walk around the block and look at our sisters. Just look at them. And I'm not saying every one of them, but the vast majority. First of all, being in pants in the first place, that's number one. Showing off your curves, showing off the shape of your body, which you're not supposed to do. That is for your king and your king only. But our sisters don't care nothing about that. And again, not all of you, but you know who I'm talking to. They don't care. They don't give a damn. All they know is that they want to show off that body. All they know is that they want to be in competition with the next sister. And do you know where all this comes from? You were trained to do it. How were you trained? Many of you were trained by your very own mother, by your aunts, by your sisters, your own family. And you know what? There's no man in the house to make any corrections. And unfortunately, for a lot of you in this situation here, and I may strike a chord, but this is real, you have a lot of fathers that approve of that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stepfathers that will want to see their stepdaughter in that type of apparel to get a younger version of the mother. Because he's not right. And this sister went ahead and brought this man, and a lot of the time it's not even a stepfather, it's a boyfriend. And he's sitting here watching her go around the house, not correcting it, not going to tell her to go put some damn clothes on and stuff like that. But y'all got these niggas up in your house that's looking at your daughters, listening to this song and going up and dancing with her and everything. Absolutely sick. Now, I want to go now to Leviticus chapter 19. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 29. Let me get a drink of water here. As I can tell, my voice just... Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 29. Fathers, especially, listen up. Do not prostitute thy daughter. I'm going to read that again. Do not prostitute thy daughter. I'm going to read it again. Do not prostitute thy daughter, to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. Now, we've been talking about wickedness since we started reading these scriptures. And what did the Most High say? Do not prostitute your daughter. That's mother and father, guardian, whoever it is. You know who also that is? You know who also this responsibility belongs to? It belongs to each and every last one of us. To when we see one of these sisters, and even the older sisters or the younger sisters, to be like, sis, you know what? You can't dress like that. You need to go put on some clothes. But do you know why our people back off? Because they don't want to hear our sisters' mouths. Too bad. Because guess what? As I've taught you already, you allow your sister to continue to dress like that without saying anything. Guess what? You are just as responsible. And the blood of her is on your hands, especially when you see her like that and you don't say anything. Do you know a lot of this? You know what a lot of this has to do with? A lot of our brothers are still in lust. They like seeing that. Hell, there was a time when I did. Hell yeah. There was a time when I liked to see the sisters in them little ass shorts, the little ass skirts and everything like that, but I was in the world then. Did you think I said anything then? No. But guess what? The Most High chin checked me and said, nigga, you gonna get right. And so now, guess what? I see the bigger picture. Sis, come on, like we trying to go home. All right? What you're doing right now is putting a lot of our brothers in sin. All right? You are working up their lusts. That's what you're doing. Working it up to where they can't focus on the word. They can't do it. Why? Because here you are in your scantily clad apparel. You are a part of the problem. So now today, like I said, I have absolutely no problem with looking at a sister like, yo, sis, you got to stop this. And go right to the scriptures and show her you can't be dressing like that. First of all, it's sinful. All right. And number two, I'm letting you know because your damn blood is not going to be on my hands. When I stand in front of the Most High, I want to hear, well done, good and faithful servant. So you can get mad if you want to. Get mad all you want. That's all right. Guess what? I'm going to walk away after telling you this. And if you don't ever talk to me again, then oh the hell well. Bottom line. All right. So I want to read this one more time. Do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. Man, I mean, that's self-explanatory. It really is. Now, that's all Old Testament. Let's go to the New Testament. Now I want you to go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 15. Matthew chapter 10, verse 15. Now, remember, we're talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. A lot of it. A lot of Sodom and Gomorrah we've been talking about so far. And here is the king talking. Watch this. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. I don't think y'all understand what Christ just said here. Now, we all know how bad it was in Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, Christ said it is going to be more tolerable in Sodom and Gomorrah than is going to be in these last days. Meaning, we are going to be worse now than they were in Sodom and Gomorrah. Isn't that crazy? Every time we think about Sodom and Gomorrah, it's like, oh my gosh, what a horrible thing. Just think about the story behind it. And we are worse than them? How crazy is that? Think about that for a second. Let that stew, let that register. Imagine what the Most High is looking down at right now, being like, oh, he's just like, oh, goodness gracious. These are my kids. These are the ones I made. These are the ones that I made, and just look at how they are. Look how they do me. Just nasty and disgusting. They have no care in the world for themselves, no care in the world for their children, no respect for each other, nothing. Nothing at all. And it's really a damn shame. It truly, truly is. And you know what's even more of a shame? That there's many of you that's going to watch this and you're going to be offended by what I say. I can already see the dislikes on there. That's okay. I light them up. Light me up tonight with the dislikes. Go ahead and show your damn wickedness. I want you to. Please do. Please do. Now, let's go ahead and go to Luke chapter 10 and verse 12. Luke chapter 10, verse 12. One more time. Christ speaking from a different disciple, a different prophet. Watch this. But I say unto you that it shall be more tolerable in that day for Sodom than for that city. What city? City of Babylon. Right here, America. And all the horrible, disgusting things that our sisters do. I keep knocking this microphone. All the horrible things that our sisters do, all the way from the Cardi B to Megan Stallion, and speaking of that, speaking of Sodom. All right, so first of all, this whole Megan Thee Stallion thing. Now, number one, I never slept with her, so I have no idea whether if she has a penis or not. But the rumor with that is there's apparently a video out there where her twerking on stage and her balls are showing. Now, I don't know. I have no idea. But that's the rumor. Not only that, but there's other rumors or whatnot that's going around claiming that it used to be a man or whatever the hell it is. Like I said, I don't know. But all I'm saying is this. Real women don't have rumors. Okay? So now Christ and the Most High is talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, as we know that all of that was going on, sexual immorality. And here you have this person up there that's more than likely representing that. Who knows? Then you have Cardi B, who's just the damn whore of Babylon. And then her, the person prior was Nicki Minaj, you know? And then you had Little Kim back in the day. You had all these people. Foxy Brown, all of them. Even all the way back to Pam Grier. You know what I'm saying? All the way back to the 70s. But like I said, we're going to take a trip down history. We're going to go deep into history tonight, all right? So now I want to go to 2 Peter. Like I said, we're going to keep it here in the New Testament, showing you that Old Testament, New Testament, they all say the same thing. All right? So 2 Peter, we're going to go to chapter 2. Let's go down to verse 6. 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 6. All right? Keeping it on the very same subject of Sodom and Gomorrah. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example, meaning example, unto those that after should live ungodly. So if you're not understanding what this is saying right here, this is referring back to the history. Saying that the Most High took out Sodom and Gomorrah, demolished it, burned it, destroyed it. And he said that this here is supposed to be a warning for everyone that comes after. That means you. That means us. That means us. We are supposed to look back at Sodom and Gomorrah and be like, oh, yeah, nah, I'm not doing it. Nope, I'm not doing it. But guess what? Our people are doing it. And he said we're worse. All right, verse 7. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Verse 8. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Now remember, Lot was a righteous man. And they're saying he used to get pissed, he used to get vexed by seeing all the things that were going around. Do you remember what he went through when all those men crowded around his house to break in to have sex with the angels, the men, guess what? The Most High said we are worse than that. Verse 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished, just like we read in the Old Testament. That the Most High is going to destroy this place. Destroy it. Absolutely destroy it. And why? Because we don't listen. We don't listen. We don't. We take everything as a joke. We really do. You know, I don't care nothing about that Bible. Who cares? I'm going to do me. I'm going to do what I want to do. If I want to wear scantily clad apparel, I'm going to wear scantily clad apparel. If I want my titties popping out, then damn it, I'm grown. That's what I'm going to do. If I want to dress my daughter up like a hoe, damn it, I'm grown. That's what I'm going to do. All right? I'm going to let these celebrities be role models to my children. Okay, I'm not going to correct my daughter. I'm not going to correct my son with this inappropriate behavior. I'm just not going to do it. Why? Because I'm grown. I'll do what the hell I want to do. All right. I'm my own God. All right. I don't have to listen to this one. Ridiculous. And it's true. It's absolutely true. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy. Now we're going to go back to the Old Testament. I want to go back to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 23. Deuteronomy chapter 23, and we are going to go to verse 17. Watch this. I want y'all to pay attention to this. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel. I'm going to read that again. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Point blank and simple. Now, I don't give a damn if anybody gets offended by that. This is what the Most High said. We are not to have any whores for daughters and no sodomites for sons. That is point blank. And there's absolutely no reasoning behind that. Damn it, that's what the Most High said. Verse 18. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow. For even both these are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Did you hear what the Most High said? I'm going to read this again, and we're going to break it down and break it down thoroughly. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore, a prostitute. You cannot bring a prostitute, which is a whore. They mean the same damn thing. You cannot bring that into the house of the Most High. You cannot bring that into the house of Israel. Point blank. Now the next part. Listen close. Or the price of a dog. Who are the dogs in the Bible? The other nations. The other nations. So what is the Most High saying here? Guess what? You cannot be bringing the women of the other nations in the house of Israel. Point blank. It ain't happening. We can't date them. We can't marry them. We can't have sex with them. Nothing at all. I'm going to read this one more time. Thou shalt not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of the Lord, into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow. Now, what do you do when you get married? You take a vow. Do you or do you not? So the Most High said right here in book of Deuteronomy, the giving of the laws. Don't bring nobody from them other nations in my damn house. That is what he said. And you ain't taking no vow with them. So if indeed you are married to someone that's in the other nations, guess what? You technically are not married to him. You know why? Because it's a sin. So guess what you got to do? You got to put her away. You got to put him away. You can't be married to them. For even both these are abomination, 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 abomination. Do you know what an abomination is according to the Most High? What an abomination is to him? Hatred. For even both these are abomination unto the Lord thy God. So guess what? When you decide that you want to dress your daughter up like a little whore, or you condone her whorish activities, guess what? You are an abomination to the Most High God, and so is she. When you have your daughters and sons bringing home these other nations and having relationships with them, guess what? You are an abomination, and so is your son and your daughter. That's what it is. That's what he said. Now, here you have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. In the lyrics of this song, there's some whores in this house. The Most High said, nah, there ain't no whores in this house. There ain't no whores in this house. You ain't bringing no whores in this house. So as you can see, clearly, they don't give a damn about the Most High, and they are directly going against what the Most High God said. That's right. That's right. Plain as day sin. They're glorifying sin. Right there. All you have... Go look at the lyrics. That's all I tell you to do. Go look at the lyrics and you'll see. You'll see. All right. Now. Oh, goodness. Here, let me see here. I don't want to go off track. All right. I want to do this. Move this around a little bit. I want to go to Revelation chapter 21. I want to go to Revelation chapter 21. Let's go down to verse 8. I want to show y'all something. Being that we spoke about abominations, right? Now we're going to get exactly what abomination is all about. Watch this. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 8. But the fearful, you know what the fearful is? The punks. The ones that won't go up and tell your brother or sister that they are in sin. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers. I want you to remember sorcerers. We're going to get into that. And idolaters and all liars shall have their place in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death, meaning your judgment. Not when you die that first time. Oh, no. When you stand in front of the Most High and you have to give an account for all the things that you've done. And he's saying, get in the fire. You're going to burn. You're going to burn forever. Forever. All because you wanted to be a little sinner. All because you want to be a little punk and not correct your brothers and sisters. Abominable. Abominable. Now, remember that sorcerer. What is a sorcerer, by the way? It's a necromancer. You know what a necromancer is? A person that practices in wizardry, warlocks, witches, all that stuff. That's what that is. A necromancer. So now I want to go ahead and I want to get into that. So now I want you to go here. Let's go to Galatians. Let's go to the book of Galatians chapter 5. Yep. Galatians chapter 5. I want you to go down to verse 19. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. I'm going to read this. Watch this. Now remember sorcerers. Now the works of the flesh, just like we talked about that countenance, the work of the flesh are manifest, meaning being shown. Which are these? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. Stop. I got to stop here for a second. I want to get you the definition of lasciviousness because that's not an everyday word. Let's look at lasciviousness here. Watch this. Lasciviousness. All right. So the root, lascivious. Of a person, manner, or gesture, feeling or revealing an overt and often offensive sexual desire. Just like in that nasty song. Just like Cardi B, just like Megan Thee Stallion, and Nicki Minaj and everybody else. All right, let me go back to it. Verse 19, Galatians chapter 5, verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envying, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before. He's saying, I told you this already. I told you this in the past. I've told you this in the history. As I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Bottom line. So why are we talking about, why am I focused so much on the heresies and on witchcraft and necromancy and all that stuff? We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the term Hollywood? You ever know where that comes from? You ever wonder what the whole term Hollywood, what this whole idea of Hollywood is about? So guess what we got to do now? Now we got to take a little history. I told y'all we're going to have a history lesson tonight. Watch this. So Hollywood, I'm going to give you the origin of Hollywood, where it comes from. Now, wizards, warlocks, witches, necromancers, what do they use when they're practicing their craft? What do they use? A little something. What is it called? It's called a wand. It's called a wand. You see magicians use it on stage. You've seen it throughout Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter is a much better example of what a wand really is. Now, the wand is used to cast a spell. To cast a spell. That's what they do to work their magic, right? So now, let's get the history. Watch this. What is a holly wand? Holly. Holly is one of the rarer kinds of wand woods. Traditionally considered protective, it works most happily for those who may need help overcoming a tendency to anger and impetuosity. At the same time, holly wands often choose owners who are engaged in some dangerous and often spiritual quests. Do you see that? The holly wand, the wand, is made from the holly tree, which is where you get Hollywood. That is what Hollywood is. It's a spell cast on people, living a lie, a delusion, an illusion, something not real. That's what Hollywood is. They cast that spell on our children. They cast it on you. There's many of you that sit there and practice out in the mirror wishing that you were a damn star in Hollywood. I know it. That's what it is, though. A device to trick you. A device to trick all of us. And they have their little witches and warlocks named Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Lil' Kim, Beyonce, and she's the biggest witch of them all. Okay? I thought Oprah Winfrey was bad, but Beyonce is the biggest of them all. The biggest. Mark my words. And I want to have just a special on her by herself. Not even her little evil ass husband, but just with her. Beyonce is the biggest sorceress in Hollywood there is. And the baton was passed to her from Madonna. But that's something I want to have by itself. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't believe me, just watch that damn Black is King on Disney. Now remember with Disney, they had the, oh my gosh, what's it called? Fantasia. Disney was all about that damn wand waving and Hollywood life. As a matter of fact, they were one of the progenitors of it. Yep. And What is Disney all about? The damn Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom. All of this tie into each other. Because what does Disney do with their little young stars? They send them to Hollywood, right? And what do they all turn out to be? Little whores. Look at damn, what's her name? Miley Cyrus. Look at her. Look at Britney Spears. All of them. And a lot of our damn children look up to them. These little nasty ass Edomite horse skanks. Absolutely. Get mad at me if you want to. That's your damn business. Now, let's go. We're going to wrap it with the scriptures here. I want you to go to Hebrews. Go to Hebrews chapter 13. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. I want to bring this out here for a reason. Watch this. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge. Now, why did I bring that out? Why did I bring that out? Because it says marriage. Marriage. Marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. So guess what that means? It means between an actual husband and wife. Y'all can do those things in the bedroom. Y'all can do the things that the damn song says. You know what I'm saying? You can do that between husband and wife. All right? The Most High does not recognize boyfriend and girlfriend. The Most High does not recognize adultery or whoremongering. It just does not apply to the Most High. So guess what? Husband and wife, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Beat it up, as the damn song says. All right? Do it. But guess what? You got to be husband and wife to do it. That's when you are clear. All right? That's when you are in the absolute complete clear. I would elaborate further, but we can have very young listeners. So like I said, I'm gonna keep it very PG. Now I'm about to go into some very deep history right now. Because do y'all really think that all of this is just out of coincidence? All of this here for the objectifying of our black women? That this just came out of nowhere? The answer is no, it didn't. So this is where I said I wanted to go into the history. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with one of our sisters, and it's an extremely sad story. It's very, very sad. Her name is Sarah Bartman. Now, this sister here was a slave. All right? She was a slave. I'm going to read you some of her history. And it's never good talking about this here, but you have to understand where the objectifying of our women came from by these nasty Edomites. Okay? And I read this a long time ago, but I got to share this here with you because many of you may not know who this is. All right, now watch this. Sarah Bartman, Afrikaans. Okay, so it looks like she was born December 29th, 1789, and she died in 1815. So she didn't even make it out of her 20s. So watch this. Was best known of at least two South African Khoisan women who, due to their large buttocks, were exhibited as freak show attractions in 19th century Europe under the name Hottentot Venus. Hottentot was the name of the Khoi people, now considered an offensive term, and Venus referred to the Roman goddess of love and fertility. So if you didn't pick up on this woman was paraded around in a freak show because of her rather large posterior, like you see in the pictures. Just to show you again how these Edomites work. Look at this here. Do y'all see this? Look at these pictures look at these nasty, disgusting Edomites. Look at this. It is not even the men, it's also the women. Look at this illustration. Do you see this? If you didn't pick up on this, they were taking this woman, this sister, this Israelite woman, and taking her around the world and putting her on display. This woman was alive. This is the beginning of the objectification of our women. Had this sister on display just to show her large posterior. You see how nasty they are? But guess what? Many of us condone those very same actions today. You know how? By supporting people like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, all of them. What are those women known for? Their rather large posteriors. That's what they're known for. That same practice continues. The very same. It's true. Absolutely true. Now, I want to go ahead and I want to read something else here to you. And this is just insane. Okay. Now, she was only in her 20s when she died. I want to read this. Death and legacy. Bartman died on the 29th of December, 1815, age 26. So she died on that day. She was only 26 years old. Of an undetermined inflammatory ailment, possibly smallpox, while other sources suggest she contracted syphilis or pneumonia. Cuvier conducted a dissection, but no autopsy to inquire into the reasons for Bartman's death. So, for those of you that didn't pick up on this here, guess what this woman died of? She died with inflammatory infection, STDs. They were raping this woman. They were raping this woman. These Edomites were taking this woman around, parading her, and they were raping this woman. What y'all got to say about that? I'm going to read something else here. This is by far one of the most sickening things that I've ever read in my life. And this is one of our sisters. This is how they do one of our sisters. Watch this. After Bartman's death, Geoffrey St. Hilaire applied on behalf of the Museum des Histoire Naturelle, meaning the Natural History Museum, to retain her corpse on the grounds that it was of singular specimen of humanity and therefore of special scientific interest, treating her like a damn animal. The application was approved and Bartman's skeleton and body cast were displayed in the Museum des Naturelles d'Angers. In other words, they took her body cast for when she died and displayed her body in a museum. Her skull was stolen in 1827, but returned a few months later. You could only imagine what they were doing with her skull. The restored skeleton and skull continued to arouse the interest of visitors until the remains were moved to the Musée des Harmonies, which is another damn museum, when it was founded in 1937 and continued up until the late 1970s. Her body cast and skeleton stood side by side and faced away from the viewer, which emphasized her stadiophagia, accumulation of fat on the buttocks, while reinforcing that aspect of the primary interest of her body. The Bartman exhibit proved popular until it elicited complaints for being a degrading representation of women. The skeleton was removed in 1974 and the body cast in 1976. Israel, do y'all understand how disgusting that is? They didn't even let this Israelite woman rest in peace. They took her body cast and her skeleton and continued to display it for them nasty Edomites to look and gawk at her body in her death. Man, do y'all see how nasty these evil bastards really are? Do you see how much they care about our women? They don't. All the way back then. Now remember, this is during slavery. That was just one of the stories. Just one. Not even talking about the other stories where they are raping our women, taking them into the house, raping them, killing them, doing these horrible things to them. And yet, they continue that practice today. Because these Edomites allowed this disgusting, degrading song to be played on the airways, shown on videos, all over. All over. But Ice Cube, Nick Cannon, Deshaun Jackson, these men cannot get on social media and say that they're Israelites without losing their jobs or getting some sort of penalty for saying that we're Israelites. Israel, do y'all understand the complete madness that this really is? Absolute madness. Our brothers can't speak up, but these women can come with this nasty, disgusting song and they glorify it. Absolutely glorify it. Now, you remember the shape of Sarah Barton, right? Now I want to tell y'all something about this here real quick. Look at this. When I tell you I cannot stand Kim Kardashian, I have the biggest disgust for this woman that I think I've had for anybody in my life. Do you see what she's doing? She is making fun of Sarah Barton. Making fun of her. This nasty Edomite trash is glorifying what they did to one of our sisters. That's right, Kim Kardashian. And how did she get popular? How did she even become famous? Because of Ray J being a hoe. And this whore has the nerve, the absolute nerve, to do this to one of our sisters. Yeah. Now, in this very same video that with the whole topic of tonight, here you have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Who else is in this video with her? None other than Kim Kardashian's little nasty hoe ass sister. The whole family. And what are they doing? The same objectification. The very same thing. That's right, Israel. This is absolute madness. So now I want to show you something else. I want you to look at this right here. Here's Cardi B. Here's Megan Thee Stallion. And here is Nicki Minaj. What do you notice about these three? What do you notice about all three of those pictures right there? What did you notice? What did you notice? They made all of them blonde. You notice that? You see that? What do these Edomites say? All right, black bitch, here we go. Guess what? You cannot be your natural self. No. We don't want you displaying your beauty. No. We want you for your body. We want to objectify you. That's what we want. But guess what we're going to do? We're going to make you look like one of ours. You can't even be yourself. We want your body, but you can't be yourself. We don't want to see that now. We don't want to see none of that natural black flowing hair. We don't want to see none of that. We don't want to see your natural locks. We don't want to see that. Put the blonde in your hair, which is a 100% nasty, disgusting sin Because the Most High said that that's leprosy. It's a sign of uncleanness. And we read about uncleanness earlier, remember? What was uncleanness? It was abominable. And we learned what's going to happen to the abominable. Guess what's going to happen to the abominable? They're going to burn in the fire, which is of brimstone. And the second death. So for every last one of you sisters that got the blonde in your hair, get it out tonight. Get rid of it. Because as you clearly see, that is what they want you to be. They want you to be them. They want you to be them so that they can be us. That's how it works with them. And it's absolutely disgusting. But our sisters, I really hope that you saw this here tonight and you're going to get things in check with yourselves and with your daughters, with your nieces, with your co-workers, with your friends, with everybody. And guess what? If you don't, guess what? Guess what? Their blood is on your hands. Fathers, brothers, uncles. Guess what we got to do? Rise up. No more sitting back. All right? None of that no more. No more letting things pass. It's time to open your mouth and let's rebuild our nation. Let's rebuild our queens to what they are, man. Let's get our nation back in order. It's never going to happen with you being silent. We're the leaders. We got to make it happen. We do. And if not, remember what the Most High said about the fearful? You're going to burn. You're going to burn. You're going to die in this sin and you're going to burn. Worthless. But guess what? Our family, we ain't playing no games no more. We got to make this happen. We have to rebuild Israel back to our greatness, and we're going to. Oh, we're going to. Everybody's not going to make it, but 1/3 of us are. 1/3. And for all of you, male and female out there that want to sit out there and do absolutely nothing and be like, who cares? It's just a video. Nothing. No, it's not just a damn video. You got work to do. We have work to do. I have work to do. We all have work to do. And we're going to do it. And if we don't, we're dead. That's the bottom line. Okay? So, no more playing. Let's get our queens and princesses back to their godliness. All right? Israel, I am so glad that we were able to spend this time again this week. And I really hope I did a good job by trying to keep it clean. All right? I was holding back a lot if you couldn't tell. All right? But there is a certain responsibility that I have that I can't go off the handle, even though I want to. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe we'll have I don't want to say a rated R show or something like that, but who knows? But I really hope that I didn't offend anyone too bad with the verbiage that I may have used. I didn't, but if I did offend you, then nigga, oh well, you're just going to be offended tonight. All right? You'll get over it. Either you'll get over it now or you'll get over it later. But either way, you're going to get over it. All right? So, Israel, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sabbath. And I truly want y'all to start talking to our youth again. This is a continuation. Let them know that this stuff is not right. You know, we have to remind them constantly of what they are. First of all, we're gods, okay? We're queens, kings, princes, princesses, children of the Most High, the greatest people on earth, and that needs to reflect in our countenance. All right? So, Israel, once again, I want y'all to be safe out there. I want y'all to love each other as the Most High loves us, that he continues to allow these messages to come and that we can get his words. All right? So, for real, we got to pick it up and boycott that damn video. Don't even play it. Don't go looking for out of curiosity. All right? Like I said, just read the lyrics. That's all you need to see. Read the lyrics and you'll see. That's it. All right. But Israel, I love y'all and I want y'all to have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Sabbath. I know I said it like 3 times, but whatever. I mean it. All right. So with that being said, Israel, I love you. I'm out.